family, what's going on? I hope everybody's in good spirits today. If this is your first time joining and watching one of my videos, welcome. My name is Travion Brandon. Everybody also knows me as 500K Trey or Trey High Power, to make it short and simple for you. You feel me? But welcome. All right, this is going to be a great video. All right, the name of the company that we trade for is Black House Management New Era Advisors. Okay, and what I'm going to be breaking down today is the Confluence Profile 500K model, one of one. This is the system that we trade here at Black House Management, and we only trade commodities. So the leading asset that we do trade here is going to be GC as our primary, and our secondary is going to be CL. Okay, both are futures contracts. All right, so let's get down into it. So what we're going to be looking at today is a trade that I took yesterday. All right, now this is going to be titled the GC. So this is a quad session liquidity high hunt, and it's going to be 5-minute breakout long. So we took two high probable setups that ran for a total of 5R, and we caught around 22 points. Okay, so the market playbook breakdown, and what we're always looking to master is managing the downside cost and printing high side returns. And we're always looking for the small window of opportunity with calculated risk to reward. Okay, this is going to be the market playbook breakdown when it comes to the Confluence Profile 500K model, one of one. All right, so the structural setup and what I was looking for on GC, the 1 hour time frame, current PA, we have developed a firewall of resistance here at the daily swing EQ price level 4150. We have quad session highs above that have yet to be swept and needing to be purged, and possibly target the next MKL 4.2K. So the quad session liquidity high hunt could very much so be the play for tomorrow. Let's get back tomorrow 5:30 a.m. after the London session and see what PA gives us. Stay blessed. So this is what I put in the group. This was today's Thursday. I think this was Tuesday evening. I put this in the Black House 500K group. And this is what I was looking for. As you can see right here, all right, at the daily swing EQ, this is on a 1 hour time frame. We came up during Asia session, we got smacked down. We pushed back up for London session, we got smacked down. We tried to push up again during London session, we got smacked down. New York session bought back up. New York session closed. Asia session, we pushed back up and got smacked down. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 4 sessions, okay, of buyers trying to lift the offer past daily swing EQ level, which is 4150, and they were unsuccessful. Buyers created a firewall of resistance, and they defended this level extremely well. Every single time buyers push price up into this level, they were met with the firewall of resistance. Sellers defended very well, pushing for lower pricing. Okay, so this is what I noticed going into the next trading day, that we had all of this liquidity built up around the daily swing EQ level that needed to be purged. All right, so this is going to be November, let me see, okay, so this is November 12th. All right, so the liquidity map, 6:30 a.m. New York open, sellers became aggressive, pushing price down into the volume point of control with a dark red print in the time and statistics. All right, so 6:30 a.m. right here, this candle right here, 6:30 a.m. as you can see right here on the time and statistics, 6:30 a.m. sellers became aggressive and pushed price down into the volume point of control. All right, so on the bid here on the time and statistics, we had 1000. Okay, very strong print. Okay, negative 200 delta. The session delta was negative 700. The min delta was negative 244. All right. So sellers got aggressive here in the open. All right. But in the following candle, look what happened in the very next candle. All right. The very next candle. Now, the next 5-minute candle printed a strong bullish engulfing. Aggressive buyers enter the auction. I apologize. I was supposed to say off the point of control and closing. No. Aggressive buyers enter the auction with the point of control and closing of the candle at the top of its body. The time and statistics flipped. So we had 985 plus on the ask. All right. So look at the switch. It went from 894 to 985. Okay. And then it went from a negative 200 on the delta to a positive 188. All right. The max delta went from 31 to a sharp plus 235 positive. Okay. Now look at this bull candle. All right. When I call it a bullish engulfing, everybody understands that term. The whole body of this candle engulfed this candle, and we closed at the top of its strength with the point of control being at the top of the bar, and we closed in full volume. This was the first major confluence that I noticed. Okay, we have strong aggression from buyers here in the volume. All right, here in this candle, 5 minutes into the open, and we pushed down aggressively into volume point of control. We had a sharp bounce off of the VWAP and off of the volume point of control, and we reclaimed price back above. All right. Now, the time and statistics flipped. 985 on the ask, plus 188 on the delta, plus 235 on the max delta. This is where the order flow shifted from weak sellers to strong buyers' hands. Right here in this candle. All right. Now, the buyer's absorption. Take a look at the time and statistics before New York opened. The delta, the session delta, and min delta. Sellers had the slight edge despite doing their best efforts to purge lower under 4130. All right. Now, when I'm saying look at the price action before, look at the time statistics before 6:30 a.m. New York open. I do live in LA, so New York open for me is 6:30. Obviously, we're 3 hours behind East Coast. All right, 9:30 a.m. on the East Coast is 6:30 here on the West Coast. All right, so look at the bid. Notice how all of the prints are dominated by red prints. Why? Because sellers, as you can see, this market is pushing lower. All right, every time we push up, we get smacked down. We came up, we got pushed down. Okay, sellers are doing their best, all right, to purge and push this market lower for pricing. However, every time we come down near the 130s, all right, we're being met with equal and dominant buyers who are supporting this market around 30, just underneath, let's just call it 135 to 129. Okay. So a 6-point range that buyers are developing right here, and sellers are unsuccessful at pushing past this level. And as you can see, this is going on from 4:30 a.m. Okay, so for over 2 hours, sellers are doing their best to push this market lower, but they're not having any success at pushing lower underneath 130, 4130. All right, so let's get back to the text. All right, sellers had slight edge despite doing their best efforts to purge lower under 4130. Were met with greater support from buyers entering the auction favoring high-end pricing. The green VWAP was being supported heavily from buyers. Every touch received a big rally from buyers to the upside, forcing sellers to liquidate. Remember, buyers are very interested in purging the quad session liquidity highs above the daily swing EQ price level 4150. So on the higher time frame, the buyers is long. Every time price hits this VWAP, it bounces up. All right, we came into it, we had a strong rally up. Sellers tried to push price back down. We hit the VWAP. We had a strong rally to the upside. All right. Sellers tried to develop one more time. Okay. 6:30 a.m. New York Open. Sellers pushed price down. It hit the VWAP once again, and then we had a strong reaction to the upside. And that was the last time we revisited this VWAP as buyers enter the auction here into the open. All right. Now remember, the higher time frame bias is 4150. This is the key level that buyers were interested in purchasing because this was the quad session liquidity high. This was the daily swing EQ level. This was the narrative that we had already developed earlier as we spoke on in the slides. Okay. So the entry confirmation at 6:30 a.m. sellers dropped price and we hit a 5-minute demand. This was the 5-minute level of demand. This candle right here. Why? Because this was the first bull candle that initiated this strong moves up, and this was considered now to be the new 5-minute high. All right. So we pushed price down just before the open. We came back down into this VWAP and we had a strong rally to the upside. Okay. Now look at how the buying got very aggressive here in this candle. All right. So we had 545 on the ask from just 271, and then it went to 572. All right. So buyers got very aggressive. Buyers got very aggressive here in these two candles, and we created a new 5-minute high around 145. 41.45. This was the new 5-minute high. We pushed price back down. Sellers tried to purge once again, unsuccessful. Buyers entered the market aggressively with this huge bull candle. This was our first confluence. All right. 6:30 a.m. sellers dropped price. We had a 5-minute demand / internal range liquidity trend / VWAP. 3 strong levels of support, and we bounced beautifully. 6:35 a.m. buyers presented themselves and left a major footprint in the price action and time in sales, showing their true intentions to go long. I waited for a strong bull candle closure above the most recent high. Okay, the most recent high was this right here. This was the most recent 5-minute high. So what I was waiting for was a 5-minute break, a 5-minute invalidation of supply. All right, with the strong volume print in the time and statistics on the bid, the delta, and the session delta, and the max delta. And once we got that, that was my entry to go long. All right, I waited for a strong bull candle closure above the most recent 5-minute high, 4144.3, and at 6:50 a.m. I entered on the bull candle and closed above that 5-minute high. That candle printed plus 848 on the ask, plus 221 on the delta, minus 267 on the session delta, meaning sellers are very weak, and plus 234 on the max delta. I bought the retest of the 5-minute and covered the candle's low for my stop, roughly 4.5 points of risk, targeting 41.55 plus. So this will be about 10 to 12 points. So right here, this was the recent 5-minute high. Okay, at 6:50, this candle right here, at 6:50, this bull candle right here, we have plus 848 on the ask, 221 on the delta, negative 267 on the session delta, and plus 243. Let's look at the following candle. This candle on the ask was only 443. Buyers doubled in this candle, and we got a strong bull candle above, breaking this high. All right, the delta went from negative 71 to positive, strong print of 221, showing true intentions from buyers looking to take this market higher, entering the auction. All right, the session delta went from negative 488 to negative 267. Now let's talk about this. From negative 488 to negative 267, that means sellers lost selling pressure. Sellers lost volume. They're liquidating, right? Remember, they were short from up here, push price all the way down. All right. Buyers got aggressive. We bought price up. Sellers got aggressive, push price back down. All right. Look at this candle print in the session delta on the open, negative 700. Buyers were very aggressive right here. All right. But there was no complementary order flow because this was where the buying distribution started. Okay. And this is where the market shifted from weak sellers' hands to strong buyers' hands. As soon as we hit the VWAP, we bounced beautifully from the VPOC and we took up to the upside. This was my confirmation candle. Okay, I entered on the retest of the 5-minute high, this candle right here. Okay, I covered the bottom of this 5-minute candle and I was aiming for 41.55 plus, roughly about 10 to 12 points on the target, 4.5 points on the risk. All right. So now on a naked chart, right? Because this is what my charts look like when I was charting it up, but let's go back and just let's clear off all the noise. All right. Let's make sure the screen real estate is nice and attractive and it's clean and easy to read. Okay. So on the 5-minute chart, really what we had was we had a 5-minute level of supply. Okay. And we had this demand building around the 41.35s to the 40, basically to the 41.29s. Okay, we had demand building, so we pushed lower, created a high, we pushed price back down into the level of demand slash the VWAP. Buyers got aggressive, we pushed price up into the 5-minute level of supply. Sellers developed, pushed price down. This is 6:30 a.m. This is the New York Open. We hit the VWAP. We came back down into the level of demand. And then buyers developed strongly here. Okay. And as you can see, these big red, I'm not big red, but big green bubbles. What does that mean? Buyers are becoming very aggressive, entering this auction in our favor, looking to take this market higher. This was the 5-minute high that entered. This was the last 5-minute high that entered this supply candle. This was the 5-minute high that I was waiting to be invalidated. Okay, as you can see, we're wicking it, but it wasn't a strong candle above, a strong candle closure above. We wicked it 3 times, 1, 2. We wicked it twice on this candle and this candle. Sellers tried to push lower, unsuccessful. And then this candle right here, okay, as you can see on the timing statistics, it went from 443 to a positive 848 on the ask. All right, so buyers doubled in the volume. Okay, from this bear candle to this bull candle. Okay, the delta went from negative 71 to a positive 221. The session delta went from negative 491 to a negative 270. Sellers liquidated, they had to, and buyers developed a stronger hand. The max delta went from just a 5 print to a dark shade high of 243. Showing true intention, we closed above that 5-minute high, invalidating this level of supply. Okay, and we had a strong bull candle that closed at the top of its strength with the point of control, which is where the most volume took place in this candle. And as you can see, how there's light shading on the additional footprint and the dark shading on the additional footprint gets darker. Why? Because there's a lot of volume looking at the top of this candle, looking to take this market higher. All right, and this was the actual entry. Okay, so we had the 5-minute high. At the 5-minute high. This is on the 1-minute time frame, but we had the 5-minute high. We came down, we pushed, we broke that. I waited for a retest. We got the retest. I covered the low and we pushed higher. Okay. And I was aiming for 155. Okay. Now the execution moment, the 5-minute break of structure, invalidation of supply, and we bought the retest. So the key confluences to enter long. All right. Now, I want you guys to understand, when I say the confluence profile 500K, the confluence profile are the expectational order flow, the dome levels heat map plus price action. These are the three confluences that make up the confluence profile 500K model 1 of 1. Now, for this specific setup on the quad session liquidity high hunt, this is what I was looking for to go long. So the key confluences were, we had relative quad session liquidity highs above needing to be purged. 2, we had 1 hour time frame buyers did a great job of defending the 4-hour swing EQ level, price level 41.27 during London session. 6:30 a.m. we bounced beautifully off the VPOC 41.35 and never returned back down. 4, 6:35 a.m. we got the confirmation bull candle. Buyers were entering the auction, and the timing statistics confirmed strong buy volume. And 5, 6:50 a.m. we got a lower time frame entry confirmation play. So this was a 5-minute break of structure, invalidation of the 5-minute high supply 41.44, and the time and statistics were in our favor with strong buy volume entering and sellers losing strength. Once price broke the 5-minute high with a candle closure above, we bought the retest and targeted 41.55 plus 10 to 12 points target. This was the heat map, the dome levels heat map. So as you can see, we broke the high. This was the high. We tried to push it down, and in this candle, on these bull candles here, okay, we had a small indecision, and I bought on this candle. We pushed up, and I bought on this candle. All right. We had a slight reaction back down. My stop was damn near hit, but it was covered. Okay, and we pushed up aggressively. So 41.44.2. I was a little bit off on this marker, but 41.44.2 was the entry. All right, 40.3 was the stop. So as you can see, buyers are now entering this market. All right, and we're hitting that 41.50. So 41.50 is the daily swing EQ level. All right, look how aggressively sellers tried to push this market lower. All right, when you see this bright red, this bright orange color, that's showing true intention from buyers or sellers, and that's how heavy they were looking to push this market lower, but were unsuccessful. Okay, we pushed lower, we immediately bought right back up, and this was the 5-minute candle. All right, that gave us the confirmation invalidating, all right, this selling pressure. Price riding beautifully the anchored VWAP. Price just serving out a band beautifully. This is clean. Look at the CVD. The volume is in our favor. Look at that. Look at the CVD volume pushing up beautifully. All right, we hit the daily swing EQ level. Now I'm in profit, 2K on this position. We hit the daily swing EQ level. All right, look at here on the 5-minute time frame in the order flow. Okay, we got the entry and we pushed higher. Look at all this buying. Look at this huge bull candle. Look at the time and statistics. Okay, so when we entered on the candle, on our entry, it was 848, and 716, 875, and then positive 1200. Once we hit 41.50 daily swing EQ level, in the next candle, we doubled that, 2400. We took off like a rocket to the upside. The volume definitely kicked in around 7 o'clock. 7:05, volume kicked in, and we went all the way to our target. Beautiful trade. Now remember, once again, this was anticipated the day prior because we had all of the quad session liquidity high. So this is where price just purged all of that higher time frame liquidity that was sitting above this daily swing EQ level 41.50. All right, boom, price hit our target. Price hit our target. Beautiful trade. Beautiful trade. Look at the anchored VWAP surfing it. Look at the CVD volume surfing it. This was the internal range liquidity that I was saying, that price. So at 6:30 a.m. price came back down. Okay, we hit this internal range liquidity, all right, slash VWAP slash 5-minute demand zone. Okay, all of these stacked levels of support, all right, that are just pushing this market higher, purging the daily swing EQ level. Beautiful trade. 12 points. Beautiful trade. Now, for the second high probable setup long, this was a 5-minute continuation targeting the next major key level, 4.2K. All right, 4,200. As you can see, we took another long here at 4191.4, targeting 4.2K plus. All right. So this was the entry. So we hit the high. I noticed this 1-minute demand zone. We kept trying to purge it. All right, unsuccessful. Buyers doing a great job of defending these levels right here. Why? Because we want 4.2K. All right, this is a clean 5-minute invalidation of support level. I apologize, resistance level. And once we got a clean candle closure above, this is where I bought. I gave myself like a 4 to 5 point stop, 90, 89, 87, 88, 4-point stop, 4-point stop, targeting just above major key level 4.2K. Just a continuation setup. All right. CVD is still very heavily bullish in our favor. We had a small correction, okay, and we're getting ready to pump this market right back up. All right, I just went long 2 contracts, as you can see here. Another reason why I took this trade was because we had this level, obviously this level of support and resistance. Okay, we came up, used it as a level of resistance, got smacked down. We came up, we used it as a level of support. Okay, we broke through it on the 5-minute time frame. We wicked it. Now we're just trying to break through it. When I seen this big buyer enter the candle right here, okay, this big buyer, and then in this next candle we had a strong candle closure above. This is where I entered. Okay, this is where I entered the market on this trade right here. This market is still heavily bullish. We are not going short here. This is just enticing sellers to get short, and we're purging this high because we want major key level 4,200. All right. Price still running. All right. Price. Now look at the CVD. The CVD, the volume, the buy volume is getting stronger. Now we're pushed up. We officially broke that high. We're headed towards major key level 4.2K. All right. Okay, once price hit our first target, 4.2K, I immediately managed to partially secure 1 contract of the table, leaving the remaining contract to our target. All right, look at the volume pumping right back up in our favor. Beautiful 5-minute continuation play, and I spotted it in the order flow right here on this big trade right here. Okay, I spotted it because look at the delta. We went from 51 to a negative 315, but the market didn't dump lower, right? Sellers tried to get very aggressive right here. 1100 on the bid. All right, negative 315 on the delta, minus 149 on the session delta, negative 332 on the min delta. Okay, but it was met with no complementary order flow. Sellers are doing their best to push this market lower, all right, here in the time and statistics, okay, but it's being absorbed by all of this buying pressure, okay, buying volume, and we rise higher, purging this high, looking to target 4.2K. We hit 4.2K. I managed to partially secure 1 contract off the table, leaving the rest running. Beautiful. Look at the order flow now. Now look at the volume. So we went from 492 to jumped up to 1200 on the buy volume. Look at the big green bubbles. Buyers heavily entered the auction here, looking to take this market higher once we hit 4,200, 4.2K. Huge major key level in this market. All right. The delta went from 80 to positive 203. What does that mean? Okay, buyers are heavily interested in this move right now. Okay, the volume is in our favor. We're long right now. Okay, the order flow is in our favor. Okay, the order flow is still in our favor. The max delta went from 97 to positive 221. The delta went from negative 69 to positive 137 in this big bull candle right here. Beautifully in our favor. All right, and we're long from 191. We're already, price hit 2-1. We're already 10 points in profit. Okay, beautiful 10 points right there. Look at the CVD volume just rising. They're pumping this market. Beautiful in our favor. Now, once we rise up to 202.5, I managed to trail my stop to major key level, my last contract. Okay, and I got out of this trade. The reason I managed to move it up is because I spotted this. Once we hit 201.5, we had a huge seller come in above major key level 4.2K for 109 contracts. 109 contracts and dropped this market, and we only had 17 on the ask. Okay, so buyers weren't really interested in pushing the market higher right here in this candle. As you can see, the ask went from 2,000 to 851. Okay, so we lost some volume right here above major key level because probably 9 times out of 10 the move was already done and I was good. We came and we got stopped at 4.2K. All right. Why? Because this big seller entered the market and dropped the market. And as you can see, look at this big seller dropped this market. We got even more aggressive underneath major key level 4,200. Okay, and they dropped price all the way back down to like 194. So it went from 203 to 194. That's 9 points just alone in this candle. I was already all out at 4,200. Okay, we made 2R on this move. Beautiful trade. Continuation play. Easy cake. Easy cake, man. Easy cake. You feel me? Easy cake. Nah, but let's get down into it. So the trade flow. Okay, now remember earlier, we were looking to purge these liquidity highs. Look exactly what price did. We purged it. We hit 4.2K. We purged all this liquidity. All right. All this liquidity got purged. All right, we hunted all of these highs. All right, and we took off like a rocket to the upside. So the trade flow, price rallied in our favor as predicted and ran all the way to both targets, securing 22 points with 6 points of risk, totaling 5R on the day for both setups. Price continued pushing past major key level 4.2K and completing the quad session liquidity high hunt. Beautiful. All right, family. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up. If you do not follow me on Telegram, I will drop the link in the description. Please follow the group. All right, follow the company on X. I will also drop the link in the description at Blackhouse500K. And please follow us on Telegram at Blackhouse500K. And I'm gonna leave you with this. Remember, when it comes to financial risk management, our profession is managing the downside cost of printing high side returns of money consistently through any market conditions. Done correctly, well, an abundance of fruit awaits us. Godspeed. 500K Trey, we out. Blessings.